Welcome back. This is Adventures with Dr. Joe. Please consider subscribing, liking, and comments are very welcome. When using a grease gun, it can be very frustrating because the tip of the grease gun can often come off of the grease fitting, also known as a Zerk. It's a Zerk because that was a patent by a guy named Oscar Zerk in 1923 in the US. So that's where the grease fittings got that name. Anyway, there are a number of aftermarket products that really are designed to clamp onto that grease fitting, hold it in place so the grease doesn't leak out and so you get an effective connection. So we're going to try 3 of these. Let's take a look at what we've got here. Grease fittings come in many shapes, but the end piece is always the same. It has a small spring in it, a ball valve, and then this lip, and you want the grease fitting to be grabbed by the connection to the grease gun here to allow you to pump the grease into it. And that's what this little indentation is. It was a fantastic improvement in 1923 when it was patented. So this is a standard coupler, a connector that goes to a grease fitting, and that's how it fits, pushes right in there and locks in place. But it's not that secure, and it can pop out and grease can go everywhere. So another option is to have a setup like this, where this actually comes in here and grabs the grease fitting, but it's not that great. These are 3 options that really clamp onto it. This is a clamp on, and this is a screw on. Let's look at those 3. There are 3 well-known aftermarket grease couplers. The Lock and Lube, it's expensive, but it's really quite good. It's made ironically in South Africa. We'll take it apart. Once it's on, this will literally pull this sheath back over the jaws. It goes onto the coupling and locks in place. We'll use that. This is the Lumax, which is a Taiwanese manufacturer. Similar thing, up to 15,000 psi. The Lock and Lube, 10,000 psi. What happens is when you bring that lever forward, it opens up the jaws, and then you put it on the grease fitting and clamp it. And this is supposed to go up to 15,000 psi. And then finally we've got this threaded screw type high pressure nozzle, which will, you unscrew it, connect it to the grease fitting, and screw it, and it really locks it in place. So we're going to see how these 3 work and kind of do a side-by-side comparison. I've used all 3, they all work, and let's see which one we think is the best. Okay, the first thing we're going to use is the Lock and Lube. I cleaned the grease fitting off, cleaned the end of this off. One thing that I should tell you about the Lock and Lube, it comes with some additional jaws, some replacement parts, which is pretty nice. Anyway, it opens up like this easily, and then this just goes right on the grease fitting and holds on to it. And it's pumping grease out, no problem. No leaking around the coupling currently. And then when we take it off, yeah, there's some that continues to come out. That's a bit of a frustration for me, and that's one thing that frustrated me a little bit about the Lock and Lube. But when you grease it up, it locks in, it really holds that grease fitting, and it doesn't leak. Let's try it on a different grease fitting. This type of a grease fitting on a tractor is much more difficult to grab onto, but we're going to give it a shot. Got the grease gun here. Here's the Lock and Lube. Open it up and lock it in. It really does seem to hold nicely. Now we're going to deliver some grease. Yep, and it's pouring out through the openings here. That's great. Now we'll take it off. And didn't really leak very much around the fitting, but again, a little bit of leaking when I disconnect it, which again for me is a bit frustrating. Let's try a different type. Okay, next we'll try the Lumax, which is Taiwan, and this is the one. Remember that you push it like this. It opens up the jaws and you clamp it down. There it is. And here we go. Yep, and grease is pouring out through the joint. Nothing coming out around here, which is nice. Yeah, and a little coming out the end. So let's try another fitting. Okay, we're going to try the Lumax on this type of a fitting. Again, open it up, lock it. Okay, put in some grease. Yeah, the grease is pouring out. So that worked well. It's not leaking at all. Now when we release it, not bad. Just a little bit of grease coming out of the end here. Not bad. And none spilling at all when it was connected. So that worked pretty well. Okay, now we're going to try the high pressure screw type. And again, when you screw it on, it locks those jaws in place and then opens them up. So put it on, lock that down. Okay, that's nice and tight. Now we'll run some grease in it. Oh, it's leaking. Leaking out of the bottom. Now it's going through the grease. Now it's delivering grease. So it leaked a little bit here, didn't it? That's not the best. And it leaks quite a bit when you take it off. So we'll try that other type of fitting now. Okay, we'll try this other type of fitting now. Got it loosened up. Put it on the fitting, screw this all the way tight. And then we'll deliver some grease. Now it's not, oh, it is leaking again, shoot. Now it's pumping in, now it's coming out the joint, so that's good. So, a little disappointing in that one. Yeah, we don't want to see all this. One of the beauties of these fittings, they're supposed to hold tight. This one's failing us right here. Well, we gave these three an honest appraisal. They all worked okay. Interesting, this screw type high pressure comes with an extra tube, which is really nice, more flexibility, but it leaked around the fitting, which isn't so great. Both of these, Lock and Lube and Lumax, worked in a similar fashion. This one, the Lock and Lube, you open it up spring loaded, then it closes automatically. This one is manual, you push it open, then lock it back down. I think this one works a little bit better, a little tighter. The Lock and Lube that's made in South Africa comes with some spare parts, which I think is fine. Both of these actually work well, and initially when I bought this it worked well too, but now it's leaking and a bit disappointing. So that's a review of 3 aftermarket additions to your grease gun to help grab that grease fitting so grease will go into it, not all over the place. And I think you're going to find that all 3 work well, but it looks like the screw type tends to leak around it more. So give that some thought. Again, thank you for watching. Consider subscribing. Click like, please, and comments are very welcome. Thank you.